Can you imagine the first miracle? Can you imagine? I know some of you wish that he'd do this today, turn water into wine, but he's not going to do it for you, so don't even ask. And don't pretend that it would have a righteous purpose. It wouldn't. But it didn't in his day either. There was no urgent crisis afoot. His mother, he must have done other things before that just were never written because his mother knew what he could do. So she just came to her boy and said, son, our friends have run out of wine. They're going to be embarrassed in the village. They're going to be shamed because they're too poor to have enough to keep this celebration going for another day or two like it's supposed to. And he said, what do you want me to do about it? And she didn't even worry about it. She just told the servants, do whatever he tells you to do. I can see her pressing. She knew who her boy was. You know how proud you are of your kids. Every one of you parents know your kid's the best one in this church. If you don't, something wrong. Just shame. Shame, shame. Don't tell your kid that. And you know you get prissy because it's yours. I can just see her saying, ignore what he said. That's her son. Ignore him, she thought, and tell them, you do whatever he tells you to do. And they came to him, what do you want us to do? And he just said, well, take all these empty jugs and fill them with water. No, 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 master. They don't need water. Fill them with water. They filled them all with water. And as they began pouring them out, it was wine. And not just wine, because someone came and said, you know, normally, told the guest, the host at the house, normally people give their best wine up front. And then after people have drunk a little bit, they bring the cheap stuff out. The kind you all buy at H-E-B. But you, sir, brought the cheap stuff out first. And now you brought this out. Isn't that, why did he do that? It didn't have anything to do. Wasn't healing cancer. It wasn't opening a blind eye. It wasn't urgently necessary. His first miracle of record was just to keep the party going and to keep somebody from being embarrassed and being awkward. And if that's not phenomenal to you, we're not quite on the same page yet. That's a God that I can really, really love and put a lot of hope in. He cares about my feelings, cares about my pride, cares about my image, cares about how I treat others and not wanting to disappoint them. And you can write all the books you want to about psychology, forget that. Just read about Jesus and read the red letters in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and the story behind every red letter. And after a while, you come up with this beautiful picture of a man who was human and had a heart that hurt like humans do, tempted in every way we were tempted, and yet man who was God. And in him and him alone, there was no sin. He conquered it. It wasn't because he wasn't tempted. The Bible says in all points, like as we are, he was tempted. And yet he rose above everything. Christ in you should be equivalent to the Father in him in that it helps you overcome your flesh. That was the picture he was making sure we got.